You know,
Yep, you sound good.
cool. Right.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, what's up? Just spreading around the tweet a little bit, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Could I ask you guys how to pronounce your names? Trying to approve everybody here.
I'm personally okay with either just Will or WGN. Either way, I get both. I'm personally okay with either just
I think we might be having a little bit of a connection issue, but we'll work it out.
Yeah, I'm working on trying to get people invited. It's saying that it's inviting people. There we go. Trying to get everybody as a speaker. Hello, hello. Yes, I can hear you perfect. All right, well, so I guess we can go ahead and get started. Today, we are going to do a little bit of a Tezos showcase. We've collected a handful of pieces, and we've got a few artists up to speak about their work and the pieces that we've collected from them, and maybe a couple of others. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. This is the first time we're doing this. This is my first time hosting something. Yeah. If I could have, is it Marialma and Lucilf? Did I pronounce your names correctly? I don't want to say it wrong the whole time.
Yes, it's Marialma.
Marialma, amazing. Okay.
Yeah, it's Lucille.
All right. We have a little thread that we're getting posted up that has the pieces that we've collected here, and then we can speak about them directly. All right. So the first piece that we're going to talk about is going to be Healing Words by Mariama. I was really drawn to this piece because of just the way that you represented the intent. I think that it really came across as a complete representation of what you meant by it. And I would be really curious to think if you could think of a core memory from a song, or an early memory from a song that has inspired you.
Okay, I will be the translator for Marialma. So, él está preguntándote, Marialma, que le gustó mucho la foto, la manera en la que representaste la imagen, y quería que hablaras un poco de la canción, ¿no? De la canción que te inspiró para hacer dicha fotografía. Más o menos.
Ok, fueron muchas canciones. No sé si vas a ir traduciendo al mismo tiempo, José Miguel.
No, da la respuesta completa y yo luego lo digo en inglés.
Okay. Son varias canciones, pero en especial hubo una de un grupo que se llama Måneskin, que es de Italia. La canción se llama Ventiani. Y la canción representa básicamente todo lo que yo quise mostrar en esta foto. Habla sobre este miedo que sentimos al ser jóvenes, al tener 20 años, de ser alguien o no serlo, de el miedo a no poder cumplir nuestros sueños o a decepcionar a las personas que son importantes para nosotros en nuestra vida.
Okay, she said that she was inspired by many songs from to do this photograph, but especially for one song from an Italian band called Måneskin. A song entitled 20 Years. And the song is about the moment when you have 20 years the first time, and how do you feel when you achieve that age and all the fears that comes with it. Maybe that's what she tried to say.
That's awesome. Okay, cool. Thank you. I'm looking up the song right now. I'm definitely interested in hearing about it. And I think that's cool because the first 20 years are always really influential to people. Okay, my next question would be, I noticed that calmness is a common theme in your work. Can you talk about the importance of feeling embraced?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, of course. I noticed that calmness is a common theme in your work. Could you explain how the feeling of being embraced is important to you?
Okay, you say calmness.
Yes, calmness, like being calm, feeling calm.
Oh, okay, cool. María, él dice que él nota que en tu trabajo hay como un tema recurrente con respecto a la calma y a sentirse tranquilo, a sentirse calmado, pues, y entonces él quiere saber cómo ese sentimiento, cómo tú abordas ese sentimiento a través de la fotografía.
Ok, bueno, principalmente a mí me gusta muchísimo escribir y siento que la manera en la que mejor me expreso es escribiendo. Incluso esta serie nació a partir de unos poemas que yo hice, los cuales están en cada una de las fotografías. Pero cuando yo hice estos poemas, no me sentí completamente desahogada y quise llevarlo a la fotografía. Entonces ahí fue cuando quise meter las canciones que me inspiraron y lo conecté con mis escritos. Siento que la manera en la que expreso mejor la calma en la fotografía es a través de los escritos. Por eso en esta serie se ven tantas letras no solo en la descripción como los poemas, sino en las mismas fotografías, como por ejemplo en las manos y en la boca que está en mi frente, en el beso que es lo que representa.
Okay, she said that something that brings her calmness to her is to write poems. She likes to write poems, and she feels the need to represent that words that she writes in image. That's why all her its photographs are a combination between words and image. Well, that's more or less what she tried to say.
Amazing. Okay, that totally makes sense. I think she did a great job, because the intent really is communicated through the combination of the photos and the words. I love all of the little poetry in the descriptions of your pieces as well. I think Will had a couple of questions, and then we can move on to talking to Lucille as well.
Yeah, no, definitely. I had a couple of things that I wanted to ask. So I'm a photographer as well. That's what my kind of background in art started off as. And I always wonder where people started off with their journey with photography. What initially made you pick up the camera?
Sorry, I can hear you very well. What you say?
Sorry, I'll repeat it. Are my AirPods messing up a little bit, or is it the audio?
Yeah, you're coming through a little bit quietly, but he asked what initially made you pick up the camera.
Ok, perfecto. María, te están preguntando qué fue lo que hizo que tú escogieras la cámara por primera vez para hacer fotografía.
Ok, bueno, yo estudié en una escuela técnica de artes y en esta escuela nos hablaban sobre el diseño gráfico, el grabado y la fotografía. De esos tres temas, el que a mí más me interesó fue la fotografía. La primera vez que usé una cámara fue para un trabajo que nos mandaron y me sentí muy conectada con lo que quería hacer. Incluso a partir de ahí entendí, tanto de la fotografía como del escrito, entendí que uno de mis sueños es ser cineasta, que es como combinar estas dos cosas. Entonces siento que la fotografía, la primera vez que usé la fotografía, sentí como esta conexión y esta seguridad de poder expresarme por primera vez tal cual como lo quería a través de ella. Fue cuando tenía unos 16 años, más o menos.
Okay, she said that she studied in a technical arts school, and in that school she learned graphic design, photography, and graving, or graphic art. The photography was the best technique for her to express herself. And she said the first time she picked a camera was for a homework for that school, and she feel very well with them. And she noted that she can express herself in image and words with photography. And one of her dreams is become a filmmaker, when she can blend these two expressions, the writing and the image.
Yeah, I think that's fascinating. That makes a lot of sense that the background did come from like a more traditional kind of background of like learning in a classroom and everything. I feel like that's kind of a more common thing, like when you see that somebody does that mixed media kind of thing of like mixing photography with other mediums. So no, it's really cool to hear. So I have one last question, and then we can move on to the next person. But so what is it that you like about Tezos and the art scene on Tezos in particular? Do you have interest in putting work elsewhere, or would you like to stick to Tez long term?
Okay, sorry again. You said that if she's interested in show her work.
Specifically on Tezos, he's wondering where her interest in Tezos came from, and if she plans on making art maybe on Ethereum one day, or if she plans on sticking to Tezos.
I can't hear you, sorry.
Okay, wait, one moment. Can you hear me okay now?
Let's see, tell me.
Okay, what brought you to Tezos artwork in particular?
What?
To minting artwork on Tezos on the platform.
Okay. Cool. Sorry.
No worries.
María. Okay. María, ¿qué fue lo que te hizo decidir mostrar tu trabajo en Tezos? Y si piensas mostrarlo en esta plataforma o estás pensando mostrarlo en otros lugares.
Ok. Bueno, yo supe de esto del mundo del criptoarte y los Tezos gracias a mi hermano, a José Miguel, que me habló al respecto y me enseñó cómo funcionaban, y al principio me sentí un poquito insegura porque no estaba segura de si mi fotografía podría venderse o podría gustarle a otra gente. Pero básicamente fue gracias a mi hermano, que me ayudó y me dijo que lo hiciera, y yo, a pesar de que al principio estuve insegura, después sí lo hice.
Ok, ¿y te interesa mostrarlo en otros lugares, más allá de los NFTs o en estos espacios, en otras blockchains?
Por ahora no, siento que todavía me falta mucho por mostrar y aprender hasta poder mostrarlo en otros sitios.
Okay. She said the first time she heard about Tezos platforms for art, it was thanks to her brother who talks about it. And for the moment, she just showing his photograph in Higeknung Object Gallery. She thinks that she's only starting to develop artistic language. So for the moment, is on Tezos.
That makes perfect sense. I think Tezos is a great place to start, honestly. Thank you so much, Jose, for translating, and thank you, Mariama, for coming up to answer the questions. We are going to go ahead and move on to our second piece. I've shared that at the top.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
This piece is called Falling Bond by Lucille. Am I saying that correctly, by the way?
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay, so my first question, I guess I chose this piece because I'm really into all of your angel imagery and your characters, and I like the way that some of them shift in the glitches and become like a darker, different character. And that really drew me. I would be curious to know who these characters are to you. Do these people represent anyone in real life? Is there a deeper story behind them?
Right. I don't know if there is like really a story behind each of the piece, but I do like well, they are not real people. They're just like, I don't know. I of course take reference from photographs and that kind of stuff, but I I don't know, maybe the one of my main topics I try to use is like duality, just like you said. In that piece, you can see that I like showing both sides of those women, and of course they're not like any special people for me, but my collection is called Fallen, and it's like well, my name is Lucia, and I don't know if you call him Lucifer to that angel, to the fallen angel, but that's how people used to call me when I was little. So that's like using this collection of girls that are like angels, fallen angels, or demons. And I don't know, I was really experimented at first when I was trying to do that. But I think it worked. People like it, and the piece that you choose is really nice. I created it for the Pride event on June, but I really like creating like love stories between women, and of course Fallen is just women. It's like a collection of these like angels or demons. I don't know. You can see them like both at the same time, right?
Totally. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. I think that's cool. I think I can relate to that because angels are always something that I like to use to kind of convey other emotions that I've already felt, or kind of express things that we all sort of feel. And I think that angels are a cool medium to do that. You answered my question about the emotions sort of that you enjoy conveying. Could you talk about some of your earlier influences and maybe just some early creative emotions that you felt in your life?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm done I'm as you can see or as you can hear, I'm like a very anxious person, and so I really try to, I don't know, when I was trying to start on NFTs, I didn't have like a style. And you can see even my my tagline in Twitter. I wasn't meant to create like a style, but I don't know. I have been working on this collection for like 4 months, and I don't know, maybe I have a style now, but I think that I was just like experimenting a lot. And when I found Tezos, is like when I started to have like people that liked my art. I don't know, I don't have like a good story with Ethereum, for example, because I didn't sell anything till I started working on Tezos. And so I don't know if I'm talking about emotions. I don't know. I don't really know. I think that it's like experimenting. I do that a lot. It's like I just start with a sketch and then just say, I'm going to use a lot of colors, and I don't know. It's like a lot of experimentation.
That's awesome. I think it comes across because you have a huge variety in the things that you make. As far as like the imagery that you have displayed, I'm just looking through your whole catalog right now, and there's so many different types of things, but they all fit your style very uniquely. And your mention of colors kind of goes into a question that Will had, so I'll let him ask a couple of his questions.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was something I was wondering about. So when I was looking through your object, I noticed you use a lot of really vivid colors. What are your thoughts usually when you're working on a piece as far as the color theory? Like, what causes you to want to use different colors?
What caused me to use different colors, you said?
Yeah, like is it usually like more of like a free-form kind of thing where you're just kind of experimenting with the piece, or is it usually like thought out ahead of time, like you want to use a specific color palette or something? I'm just kind of curious about that.
Yeah, well, in real life, I'm a filmmaker, and of course, I had a lot of classes on color and color theory and that kind of stuff. So it's like it's always been with me. But I just ask, if you can see my object page, you can see how much I changed my color use in the last couple months, because it really was. When I started this, it's like, yeah, you can see I try to use color. I even use color palettes or color generators to choose the colors, because I didn't have like, I don't know, like now I feel like I can just say, oh, this color is needed for this and for that, and it just like come to me every time, because for color, for example, I don't have a plan. It's just like on the way when I'm working on a piece, and I usually try to not take a lot of time, because as you can see, I have produced a lot of pieces in I don't know, 4 months. So I try to, I don't know, take 3 hours, 4 hours for each piece. So it's like just playing around and messing around, starting something and then changing everything. It's just like that, very experimental.
No, that's fascinating. I love that. That's kind of always how it is for me too, as far as it being just more of an experimental kind of thing. So I definitely relate to that. All of you, did you have any more questions, or should I go ahead and ask my last one?
Nope, I've asked all of mine, so that's all you.
Okay, sounds good. I have one more, and then I think, are we going to be going to questions and showcase from the audience after that, or what's the plan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure.
I think after this, we could go ahead and start showcasing from the audience. We have a couple pieces in backup just in case nobody wants to come up and chit chat, but I think we've got some questions already. So, yeah, you can go ahead and ask your last question.
Awesome. Well, yeah, just to keep it flowing, so I'm going to ask this last question, but if anybody in the audience does want to come up to talk about their art or anything, and kind of give a showcase on that, we'll try to come up with some questions on the fly. So I'll ask this one, and then we'll start to bring some people up. So I guess the last one that I was kind of wondering, because I noticed that like you really do have there's like a lot of that like glitch art kind of style to your artwork, and I was wondering how you feel about the current state of glitch art in NFTs. Like, it's definitely become a bit of a phenomenon at this point. We're seeing like kind of like different sub-communities within NFTs, and I feel like one of the bigger ones is the glitch art community. Do you like seeing that it's been so embraced by the community like that?
Yeah, of course, and yeah, it's like I saw when I started this collection, I just started like investigating what kind of stuff people like, because I was like frustrated. I always have drawn girls and women, but not in that style. So I saw that people like a lot glitch and colorful art and skulls and that kind of stuff, skeletons. So I try to combine that stuff that I said, oh, of course, people will love it. So I try to combine that with my girls, and it was like, I don't know, perfectly fit because it worked. And you can see the I don't know, I don't like the glitching too much things, but I do like using that kind of stuff because it's perfect for just like using the change and duality and that kind of stuff.
No, I love that. And I have to say, I wasn't familiar with your work until today, but when I was scrolling through your object, I was like very struck by it. Like, I feel like you found
I hope that you didn't get nauseous with so many colors and shapes.
No, I love them. No, it was a great experience. But yeah, I was gonna say that like I feel like you've really
FJ9 and a series of letters. I'm gonna go ahead and approve your request. Hello and welcome.
Are you talking to me? I don't know.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
What is your name? Sorry, it's just FFFFJ97. How should I call you?
That's what my mama calls me. No, my name's Finn. But
okay, cool, Finn.
I know that Subtle actually. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to step out of line or get ahead of anybody. I know that Subtle, I think, probably already had like submitted to show something, or I don't know how this is really working. So I just don't want to fuck up the
Nope,
order.
it's totally freeform. If you requested, you're more than welcome to come up, share something. You can add your piece up,
Okay, awesome.
talk about it. It's your turn.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and pin something up here really quick. Then 1 second.
Sure.
I think this is if I'm remembering correctly, maybe not, but I think this is like one of the last things that I uploaded to Tez. I do have like a couple things still available, like quite a few things actually available on primary, as well as like a bunch of stuff available on secondary. But this is definitely like one of my favorite pieces I've made within like the past year even. It's definitely like my favorite watercolor that I think I've ever made.
Oh wow.
And thank you. Yeah, this piece is just kind of I don't know, I didn't really have an idea in mind or like a story I was trying to tell in mind per se when I was making it, but by the time I finished making it, some serious life changes had happened, and I kind of realized that this piece was like a very obvious subconscious iteration of what was going on in my actual life, and without really getting too into it, I honestly even have a description that I wrote that I feel is pretty apt for what the piece is kind of symbolizing and everything. Let me just pull that up really quick.
Cool.
But
yeah, I'd love to hear that. The piece is like super visually striking. I love it.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely my favorite watercolor I've ever done. I'm just settling into my new space in LA. I just moved back to LA from living in New York for like a year, and I don't know, I'm just like organizing everything, and I'm just so excited to like sit down and actually be able to start painting again. I'm trying to find a studio space probably soon too, because I don't want to mess up my apartment too much. But let me see. Yeah, so essentially I try to keep it pretty short with my descriptions usually, but I said, never let the promises of others erode your values. A rainbow's so big it couldn't even fit in the sky in the first place. So all in all, it's just kind of, I realized a lot of what I was going through were some issues I was having with friends at the time, where I was just being promised so much by these people who were like supposedly friends, you know? And I just realized after a certain amount of time, I was like, these are all hollow promises. Like, this is all sunshine and rainbows until shit hits the fan, kind of, you know? And it was very funny too. As I was making this piece and I was doing the rainbow, that top part of the rainbow went right to the edge of the paper, and I was so upset at first. I was like, oh no, I ruined this piece. Like, now it's just all fucked up. But then when I had the idea to make it like a bloody, like, spine-scraping rainbow at the top, it honestly became my favorite part of the entire piece, and obviously, you know, where the name came from for me. So that's all I could really say about this one.
That's amazing. I appreciate you sharing that and the story behind it. That would honestly be the main things that I would have to ask about it. I think that the imagery is super captivating. I would be curious now that you're either you said you're about to move or you just moved and you've got settled in.
I just moved and movers came here yesterday, and I have realized that I have way too much shit for the apartment that I moved into. So I'm kind of in the midst of getting rid of things. I'm giving someone my drawing desk tomorrow, like my old drawing desk, and just trying to downsize some things and organize all my art supplies and stuff.
So, okay, so now that you're in a position where you're getting yourself settled, how does this piece strike you? Does your feelings about this piece, have they changed since you've made it?
To be honest, not really, because originally the feeling, I just wanted to, this was like one of the biggest watercolors I'd made in a long time as well, and I just wanted to make a beautiful piece. Like, that's really what I was approaching it with, was like trying out. I also never used cold pressed paper, so I just was kind of like messing around with a lot of new things and just kind of seeing what I could push myself to do. And I would say I felt entirely different upon finishing the piece, realizing what it actually meant to me and kind of what my subconscious was trying to tell me. And that still rings very, very true to this day, for me at least.
That's awesome. Thank you for expanding on that and coming up to share your work.
Yeah,
we'll definitely leave that pinned up there.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Will, did you have any questions about it or anything?
Yeah, I just have one quick question. So, like, your work just looks so clean. Like, stylistically, it's really cool, but also, like, technique-wise, I can tell that there's, like, a lot of skill there. Are you self-taught, or did you go to school for this or anything? What's your perspective?
So, like, I did go to a visual and performing arts high school, but, like, it was in buttfuck nowhere, Florida, and it was literally built on an old motel, and, like, so, all in all, it's, like, nothing special. It's not some fucking Academy of the Arts or something, you know? It was definitely just, like, the only art school in town. But, I am very grateful, and anytime I approach a watercolor, I often do think about my senior my senior year art teacher. She kind of came in late in the game, and she was just so sweet. And you know, there's a lot of kids who just take art class to like fill up a period or something like that, you know, but I was one of the ones that was really curious, I guess. And I always remember she would hide this Norwegian watercolor paper that was like really big for me up on this tall shelf, so that none of the other kids would just like do fuck shit on it. And I just always really appreciated that, and that's really my furthest experience in like teaching with watercolor specifically. And this was probably like the second watercolor or so that I had made in like years and years and years. I really didn't practice this medium for quite some time.
No, that's super cool. I love that. No, I can tell that there's a lot of passion there. I really love the piece. So thanks for coming up and telling the story.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening. Have a good day.
You too, thanks.
Alright, we have a wild, subtle double who has appeared. Would you like to share a piece and come chit-chat about it for a second?
I don't necessarily have like a specific piece, but I just came to vibe out, listen to some Tezos stories, and maybe share my own, because at this point I've kind of branched off into some different collections, and something that I was listening to earlier that really resonated with me was this feeling of like my 8th piece didn't sell until I started getting some traction on Tezos, which just like makes me think of like a multi-chain artist, and the way that we already kind of compartmentalize our different skill sets into different collections through any one blockchain, but like we can also do that through multiple blockchains and have different levels of accessibility to our art and ability to have more people participate in our worlds. So I don't know, that's where I'm starting off. If I were to put up a piece though, I guess I will pin my new collection, because this is something that I'm trying to maybe bring more awareness to, because my previous collection, Ghouls, has been, you know, getting some visibility, and I'm very thankful for it, but I'm also trying to establish a little bit of myself in the more comics and cartoon world. So I'm starting with simple illustrations of moments and calling them vignettes, and hoping that I can gain some traction and audience and interest in this kind of style of work, so that I can naturally evolve it in the future with the funding that I would get from this. So, you know, I'm an animation graduate and feel like I still haven't made my mark in animation, but I feel like creating a short film of moments and excerpts from life could tie in together to something like thematic and cathartic that I'm trying to chase. So this is SB vignettes, and on Ethereum I hope to do SB excerpts or SB spotlights. I still haven't quite thought of which one, but you know, in that original thought of just the multi-chain artist, I've just definitely been thinking about how I can branch collections and branch the vision into different kinds of like crowdfunding into project running pipeline. I don't know.
Totally, I feel you. I think that that's the beauty of crypto in general, is that it kind of gives us the option to get ourselves out in front of so many people, but then also to present ourselves in, like you said, little compartmentalized ways that we could be like, here's just like a little section of me and a place for it. You know, I think that's cool. I think that's what it's all about, really.
Yeah, I've been seeing that more and more in my journey, because at the end of the day, like, it's always good to self-assess and readjust, but I've been finding more and more needing to meet the audience halfway, and maybe even 75% of the way rather than halfway. But it's kind of like finding that balance of what it is that I want to provide and what it is that might be wanted, you know? I don't know. It's a guessing game at the end of the day, but as long as like I'm honest with the answers on both sides of the ends of what I hope for, I think that's like taking me in the right direction, or I would hope.
Totally. Could I ask you about this portable surveillance piece? It reminds me of like a morning comic in a newspaper, where it's just like, it's real simple, but there's a whole story, and it almost feels like there's a whole history behind these little characters that I can only see half of both of them. So I would just kind of be curious about how this piece specifically came to be for you, or if these are going to be repeated characters, or what's up with that.
Yeah, that's a great question. Some characters are repeated, but most of them are just one-off moments, and I think that's like the beauty of the vignettes, is that by definition it's not a full image. It's just a, I don't know, hazy interpretation that has the necessary information. So it's like bite-sized stories, but it'd be interesting to see with how it might connect characters, or even like how other characters like show up again. But I haven't explored that quite yet. I just don't think I've reached that level of quantity and the work produced for it.
That makes sense. That totally makes sense. I'm also really loving this Thoughts Too Real piece. I'm looking through the collection right now. These are all a bunch of gems.
Thank you. I actually had.
Oh, I think I've lost you for a second.
Kind of train of thought of compartmentalizing my skill sets. I didn't want to like put this out there and then it not be the direction I want to be going into, or like the pocket I'm growing. So I held off on them because I, like, with the idea of the short film, I didn't know if I wanted these to be scenes or really just static images. But
yeah.
But I don't know. I've just been growing in different directions, and I feel like to have this as just putting the foot in the water for this kind of work, makes sense to me right now. So
yeah, totally. It makes sense to me too, and I think that you're doing a good job of showcasing that you're kind of creating and free flowing with your life right now, and just kind of like bringing what comes to you onto paper, whether it's digital or physical, but like you're just kind of creating your life as it comes to you.
Right. It's little moments, and I did in this style like a more just goofy meme like panel, which was when that artist that did like a what was it, like a sci-fi chair, got called out for not actually having made the model. He just like bought it and then sold it for a whole bunch. Yeah, like I made a comic in that day with that kind of style, but it had like a little caption of just like, do you want to buy this chair? Like, I definitely made it. But then when it like got flipped and the artist that made the chair actually minted it and he went and put a bid on it, I like made a second one where I just crossed it off and I was like, I want to buy this chair. I definitely didn't make it, or something like that. But I can't quite find it. But I think that like I don't know. I've had difficulties presenting myself as like an artist because I don't necessarily have like a central beam I'm trying to pursue. So even going by like a moniker and trying to understand how it is I want to present through that has been like an experience and challenge of its own. But I think that by differentiating the mediums I'm speaking through, like it really helps me talk about different things. And yeah, so I found it actually, and I don't know if it worked for pinning it, but yeah.
Oh, nice. Yes, it did. Yep, I love it.
Thanks. And then I don't want to hold this speaking role for too long, so I just wanted to mention maybe this sister collection I have to my Tezos collection, Ghouls, because I'm going to make an announcement tomorrow for the next installment of Conjurer's Quest, and that's just the story of the Ghouls Hunter Association's final hope, the Conjurer, and the way that he is able to conquer and dominate the world around him, because he's just a lone man. You see in the first installment he's just like butt naked on a gabagool, but in the second one he comes back kind of armored in top of a pterodactyl. So like you see he already has a non-fungible mask on with a cockadoodle ghoul like chest armor set. So like now I'm gonna be doing a third one, and in the way like I evolved this collection on ETH is because of the additional tool sets that are provided with Manifold. I can just update the metadata and keep on just evolving this 101 that I auctioned back in April 1st. And that's beautifully held by Omechi Joving, and I'm excited to see his reaction to the next evolution. And whenever the 101 evolves, I take the previous state of the Conjurer's Quest and do a 5 edition mint. So we have like the first one from the first evolution, but now the second state is going to be an addition. And I don't know if it made too much sense because it's kind of convoluted, but yeah, I'll drop a little video tomorrow, and I guess I wanted to bring that up too.
Yeah, definitely. We'll be on the lookout for that. Feel free to stick around if you have any questions you want to ask other artists. You are more than welcome, or if you have any other comments or anything like that, you're welcome to stay on stage. I appreciate you breaking down your recent works and talking about the vignettes and hearing your voice in general.
Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for your hospitality, and it's been nice sharing these ideas because I've just been cooped up working on them. So I appreciate you.
Of course, of course. David, would you like to come up and talk about / share some work?
Yes. Hi, hello, friends. Thanks for the space. Give me a second to pin it.
Yep, sure thing.
Yeah, it's up now. My name is David. I'm a Cuban photographer and mathematician, and my main goal is to explore the relation between math and art. And this is my work, pinned up there. Is one of my last collections called Hopeless, where I try to explore new sequence and new cryptographic puzzles with these pieces. I have videos with my process in case you want to watch it. And in this thread, there is also a video with music with all my works on Tezos. I have been in Tezos for more than a year now, a year and few days, I think, and not moving to any other way. Thanks for the opportunity and thanks for the space.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize I was muted. That's my bad. Thank you for sharing your piece. And without going into the video too much, could you explain a little bit of your process on how this piece specifically was made? I would be really curious. It looks amazing. I'm curious about the numbers written on her jawline and their significance.
Well, these pieces, I take the pictures with models here in my city, and then I use Photoshop and stock images. For example, the feathers and the horn are stock images that they have the right to use for commercial use. And the numbers in the jawline are a code that the collectors have to crack to have one hope token. If you burn 3 hope token, you get 1 edition of these pieces. And I made this kind of quest in this collection. This in particular is already cracked. I can let you have the fun, or I can say you the answer as you want.
No, let us have the fun. I think that will be cool. I love the idea of interactive pieces and puzzles within the artwork, little Easter eggs, because I think that it really shows, it gives a chance for collectors to show that they're genuinely interested in the pieces. Gives them a chance to look deeper and really dig into it. So I think that's awesome that you're doing that.
Thank you, my friend. In the other works, I because this is a series, a numeric series that is relatively easy to find the answer. But in my previous work, I used cryptography to encode words, and is this all these red pieces that you see in my profile are related to this, are not so easy to crack.
That's amazing. I always really appreciate when people can actually get into the token and make an experience that is based around the crypto aspects of it, because as somebody who doesn't really know any coding and doesn't know any of the dev side of my tokens, it's something that I think about a lot, is how to make it actual crypto art instead of just art on the blockchain. And so I think that what you're doing speaks to why this space is actually innovative, and I think that's awesome.
Thank you, my friend. Also, Tezos have a lot of tools that you can use, crypto noises, for example, that let you filter the shares on secondary, and you can have more control on the supporters on the secondary market, or the bots in Discord that let you track a contract from object, and you can do really crazy stuff with that. I think I just missed few things in Tezos, to be honest, but I think that they are coming soon.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing your work. I definitely look forward to digging deeper in and looking with a closer eye now that I know that these are connected by a quest.
Yes.
Let's see. We have Faraz in the audience as a speaker. Would you like to come speak?
Absolutely, yeah. Hello.
Hello. This is my first time hearing your voice.
Yeah, dude. How you doing? What's going on? You living life, man?
Yeah, man. Doing good. Just chilling. Do you have a piece for us to share specifically?
Yeah, it would be my stop motion. Can I just pin it up?
Yeah, totally.
Awesome. There we go. Yeah, so for the past month, I've just been working on this little series to drop about abundance and just how I'm personally kind of switching to that kind of like more positive mindset and just open to the and everything and like that. Yeah, I'm finally going to be able to drop it on Sunday, which I'm very excited for, on Tezos. I really didn't have much mentally going on to talk about this, but
yeah.
That's okay. I've honestly, I've wanted to talk to you about your art for a little while in general. I think that this is cool because I'm used to seeing your wood burning and your woodwork, but not your stop motion. What sort of got you into woodworking in the first place, and then what led you to combine it with stop motion and other mediums?
Yeah, so I was doing wood burning since like 2017 of just like album covers, and then last year I finally moved out to my own place. I'm in the middle of Utah, which is too long of a story to explain, but it's for grad school. yeah. I'm in grad school, and really I was just kind of chilling on my own for like a week, and I was like, okay, I need something to do, because I really wasn't enjoying the people I was around. So I kind of took a nosedive into art, which was great. And since I was already doing wood burnings and I have a huge like sculpture experience, I wanted to combine them and just do like woodworking kind of stuff. So the past year, it actually has been a full year since I've done my like wood carvings and wood burnings now, so very happy about that. But yeah, I mean, I've just been doing it for a year. It's been fun. I can sculpt again. I'm a little bit of an arson, so I love a little bit of arson in my art.
Yeah,
It's
totally.
great. It's great. So that's really how I got into it. And now, like the past few months, I've just been adding like different forms of media to it, which has been very fun because I also can just like walk around, enter a store, and be like, "Hey, that's cool," and just take it, put it in a project, and it's nice. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's something that I notice among a lot of artists that I've connected with, at least, is it's a lot of experimentation and just like seeing something and being like, yeah, fuck it, I'll give it a try. And then a lot of times we end up just falling in love with the little things that we try, and it opens up a whole new channel for creativity and other people to see our work. And I think that's fun. That's what it's all about. Let's see, we have also Emil Stefan. Did I say your name correctly? You've come up as a speaker. You're more than welcome to come share a piece if you like.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
Hey, doing well. How are you?
Thanks for having me up here, man. I really am enjoying the conversation.
Happy to have you. Do you have a specific piece you'd like to share?
Let me see. I'm sure I can find that. Let's see here. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared.
No worries.
I was just kind of fucking off listening to this space.
Actually, I've always been a fan of your work. While you're picking some stuff out, I can ask you some questions about it if you'd like.
Oh, yeah, totally, man. Hey, it's nice to talk to you. I love your work.
Thank you. No, the feeling is mutual. I've always been a fan of your work. I'm kind of curious, like, so especially I've been noticing you, like, posting the color palettes and stuff lately. What's your process usually like as far as approaching color theory? Like, do you think ahead of time about what colors you want to use in a piece, and are you thinking about that when you're shooting? Or does it kind of, like, free flow when you're in the editing process later on?
That's an interesting question. The color palette studies I've been doing have definitely been forcing me to like figure that out and like think about that stuff a lot more. I feel like I'm just, I don't know. I feel like it's always in my mind, like the sort of color theory, like the sort of color theory I'm gonna use to approach a scene when I shoot it. But most of it probably comes out in the editing process, though, because it takes me just like hours to get things exactly how I want it to, you know how it is. But yeah, I don't know. I think it just sort of comes in the process. That's a great question, and that was sort of a shitty answer, but thanks for asking.
No, it's totally okay. Yeah, I mean, any answer is the right answer, to be honest. So, Do you feel like you tend to use like specific color palettes for specific subjects, or like a specific color palette at night, specific color palette during the day? Have you noticed any like sort of like trends with like the way that you work with that?
Yeah, so I use a ton of yellow, especially in my night stuff. A lot of yellows and greens and like a very specific shade of blue I'm drawn to. And there are like certain, and it's just my own flavor, but like there are certain colors I avoid, like just because I don't like them. And I just like I'll go out of my way to like sort of take them out of a photo or to add them in if I want them there. But yeah, I've definitely been noticing a lot of my palettes have been neutral with like just like these pops of like vibrant primary colors. Like I love my primary colors so much. Like my deep like reds and blues and yellows and all that great stuff. But yeah.
No, yeah, I love that. Like specifically, I'm looking at your object specifically right now, and I'm definitely gonna butcher this pronunciation, but the Grotendon or whatever it is has like that like red sort of gradient up at the top and like the neon lights that are kind of like popping out. That like set us 5 right there from that night at the. I'm not even gonna try with that one. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, the versatile Prater or something. In Austria, that was a really fun like little series to shoot. It's so cool. It's like this like historic amusement park that they have like in the center of Vienna. And that was really fun. That was like some of the first photos I really played around with.